Welcome to Tales Untold. This story comes from Australia. I just moved into my third flat. I was excited to be on my own and forge a new path after a devastating breakup. I had gotten a job close to where my flat was located and I felt so good, finally. The flat wasn't much, but it was mine. I got settled in pretty quickly and made this unit my own. No roommate, no lover, just me. I'd been basically going to work and back for a few weeks. It was important to me to spend time with myself and recover. This one night I was unpacking a box. It was music items. Records, posters. There was a room just off the kitchen that was an extra room. Small, but spacious enough for me to put my music collection. I took the box to the room. As I opened the door, this feeling came over me that stopped me dead in my tracks. My arms began to tingle. I turned the light on in the room and looked around. I sat the box down, noticing that the room felt a bit damp, but I attributed that to it being closed up. Who knows how long it had been closed up for? I decided not to set that room up that night, and went to bed instead. I awoke the next morning and went into the kitchen for some breakfast. The door to that room was still closed. The stove was right next to that door, and as I cooked, I felt that tingling feeling in my arms again. I also felt a sense of dread. I made my food and went into another room to eat it. I felt a little lighter in the other room, but couldn't stop thinking about how that door was making me feel. It felt off limits. I didn't really want to open it up again, but my music stuff was in there. I opened the door swiftly. The sun was coming through two windows, and it was an empty room. What on earth should I be afraid of? Was I afraid? Yes, I suppose I was. I started to organize my things, and began putting some posters on the wall when it felt like someone was standing directly behind me. I felt my shoulders tighten up and turned around quickly. No one was there, of course, but I didn't like the way I felt. I just felt bad, like someone was upset with me and didn't want me in there. I grabbed up all of my music stuff, put it back in the box and left the room. I closed the door and thought, forget it. I found a new place for my things. Space felt okay in that flat, but the air felt heavy. It was heaviest by that door, but I had to use the kitchen, so there was no way around it. I had to be near it. I was doing the dishes one night with my back to that damn door. I felt this creepy feeling. The kind that runs up your spine and into your neck and head. I turned around and again. Nothing. Just this sense of dread again. I managed to watch movies, play games, have friends over. But I was always very aware of that door. One night after I'd been asleep for a few hours, I opened my eyes. My eyes were drawn to my bedroom doorway. I slept with the bedroom door open so my cat could come and go. It was dark, but in that dark was something darker. I saw a dark outline of what looked like a man wearing a hat in my bedroom doorway. I couldn't move. This shadow didn't move. I was frightened to say the least. I closed my eyes and opened them again, and it was still there. I shut my eyes and wished it away. When I opened my eyes again, it was gone. A few weeks later I had met up with a friend of mine. We were having lunch and I felt comfortable enough to tell her what I saw. She'd lived in that flat years before I had, A fact that she just brought up that day when I told her where I'd moved to. I'd told her what I'd experienced and seen. She told me that she wished she'd known that's where I was moving to. Her and her son had occupied that flat for less than a year. She had made that room by the kitchen her son's bedroom. She said every so often he'd come wake her to tell her that there was a dark man standing in his doorway. I gasped. The both of us were freaked out. I went home that afternoon and called the lessor. I informed him that I would be leaving the unit. I certainly didn't feel welcome there, and after what my friend told me, I was done. I've never seen a shadow person or dark man since. I wonder what happened in that unit. How long ago? Was the dark man evil? He didn't give off any nice vibes. Maybe he just didn't want anyone in his flat. Whatever the reason, I was not going to stick around to find out.